The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everybody. It's a Tuesday afternoon for INBOX25 and welcome to today's webinar, Utilizing Marketing Lists with INBOX25. My name is Alex Borak with the Calling Solutions team over here at INBOX25, Marketing Automation Made Easy. Thanks for attending today's webinar, How to Effectively Use Marketing Lists with INBOX25. At the end of the webinar, there will be a short Q&A. If at any point during the webinar you have a question, just throw it in the chat bubble. I'll get to as many as I can, and any questions that I don't answer, I'll follow up in an email following the demonstration. Today's webinar is being recorded and will be up for further viewing in the near future on our YouTube channel as well as on our knowledge base. So with that being said, let's get right into it. So with INBOX25, as a pro marketer, we allow you to use CRM lists as well as marketing lists. Most, if not all of our webinars, show how to use our features with CRM lists. But today's webinar will focus on the functionality of our platform with marketing lists exclusively. So to begin, what is a marketing list? A marketing list contains records that your company would like to market to. This list resides outside of a CRM within a CSV or tab delimited file. The most common case is an Excel spreadsheet. Marketing lists typically contain records that have already expressed some sort of interest with your company. Or, in the alternative, a marketing list contains a list of records that have given consent to be marketed to. In any case, these people are itching to buy from someone. They just need to be nudged in the right direction. So what's the difference between a marketing list and a CRM list? Well, a marketing list, as I mentioned before, is separate from CRM list. A CRM list is a database of records that you may or may not have interacted with efficiently in the past. A CRM list could contain dirty or old data that has not been removed from the system for one reason or another. Basically, a CRM list needs constant diligence and monitoring to make sure the database is fresh and all the moving parts are working. Although CRM lists are always updating and evolving, you can use a marketing list to do much of the same functions a CRM list has, with the exception of the feature-added benefits of running reports, UI views, as well as the organization of a database into sections based off of type of record, status of the record, as well as any notes or opportunities associated with the record. So how would one use a marketing list to get some of the same functionality using INBOX25? Well, with INBOX25, we allow you to upload marketing lists and be able to create custom data fields right off the bat that will reside within INBOX25 for that list. You can create landing pages that map to these fields and expand the marketing list as new leads come in. You can use lead scoring to score leads based on data within these fields. You're able to utilize Site Monitor to track new leads coming to your site, as well as look at where known leads are going in your site. You can also view timeline reports of any record within your marketing list. With the automation, you're able to nurture records within your marketing list based on landing page conversions or data fields or geography. You can also add INBOX25 tags or use list segmentation to segment your data properly. Finally, you can increase or decrease a lead score via workflows if they say open an email or click the specific link in an email or have a tag associated with them. Now, what you don't get with a marketing list is basically specific to the CRM integration. As will be discussed and shown in the presentation, you will not get the one-to-one bidirectional sync with Sugar and INBOX25. You also will not be able to utilize the opportunities, calls, meetings, contracts, quotes, support cases, target lists, and converting records in the automation. You will also not be able to send to CRM lists if you're only using marketing lists. So now that we've discussed what you get and what you don't get with a marketing list, let's get right into the demonstration. And what I'd like to do today is I'm going to start by uploading a marketing list, creating the necessary segmentation, and then I'll take you through the features of the system that you're able to utilize with a marketing list. So right off the bat, as you can see, I am logged on to our INBOX25 account. From the dashboard, you're able to see all the general analytics that's going on with your system at the current time. You can configure the reporting between today, for the week, or for the last 30 days. So if I want to go and create a marketing list, where would I go? Very simple. You would navigate to Lists, and then go to Create a New List. Now, before the demonstration, I took the liberty of creating a CSV and putting some dummy records in there. So that way, when uploading the list, there will be no hiccups. So when uploading a marketing list, we ask a few very basic questions to make sure that the setup is correct. First, you'll name your list. I'm going to name this INBOX25. Oops, let's try that again. INBOX25 marketing list. Make sure you select marketing list under the list type, and make sure you configure the appropriate date time format that you would like. I prefer month, day, year, so I'm going to select that, and I don't want to include a time format. Next, you'll have the global suppression rules. Would you like to check this list against the global suppression list? I'm going to select yes, because I want to make sure if there are records in this marketing list that have already been on my suppression list, I do not want to email them. Then you have the option of adding records later or adding records now. I'm going to go ahead and select Add Records Now and click Next. Great. So the next step is you have the option of adding the records manually or inputting the records from a file on my computer. Since I already have the file on my computer, I'm going to select this option and click Next. In the alternative, if you'd like to add your records manually, all you'll simply be taken to is a text box in the next page where you'll be able to add your records. You can do name, comma, email address, or just email address. All right. So the next stage is we just need to verify that the list is part of our acceptable use policy. As you can see, we list what is okay to use and what is not okay to use. This list is okay to use, though. I verified that. So I'll just click this checkbox, and then I'll click Next. Perfect. Now we're at the stage to add custom data fields. When uploading a marketing list, we give you a few stock data fields that are very commonly used. So if I wanted to add a custom data field, how would I go about doing that? Very simply. First, you label the field name. Let's do an example of nurturing. And then you have to select the field type. Let's make this a text field and add the field. Now, what if I wanted to add a number field or a date time field? Completely fine. All you'll simply do is select the appropriate operator, for this example, date time, and let's add a data field of birthday. And just to round the experience, we'll create one more custom data field, and this time we'll make it a number field. And let's just name this age. As you can see, when you add a field, you will have a thank you message indicating that the field you created was successfully completed. So, now that my fields have been added, let's go to the next step, where then I will be asked to import my list. Also, just a quick note, as you saw from the previous screen, we show you the personalization tags that you will use when creating custom data fields, as well as using our stock data fields. The personalization tags are utilized in email campaigns, as well as Twilio SMS messages. To learn more about our integration with Twilio and SMS-based service, please check out our webinar on the Twilio integration at our YouTube channel. Moving on, so right now we're at the select the file stage. So I'm going to go ahead and select choose file. I already know what the list is named, so I'm going to go ahead and find the marketing list, which is a CSV. I'm going to go ahead and open it. Make sure the CSV is also selected. If it's a tab delimited file, make sure to select that option as well. So let's go ahead to the import process. As you see, when you click import, a progress bar will appear. And once that progress bar is finished, that means that the list was imported successfully. However, if the list was not imported successfully, you will be prompted that the error message will appear and it will tell you what happened. So, because I have some columns in the CSV, the system would like to ask me if column 1 belongs to a specific data field. Column 1 is labeled name. So, as you probably guessed, I'm going to match this with the name data field. Column 2 is email. I'm going to match this with the email data field. Column 3 is organization. I'm going to match this with the company data field. I'm going to go ahead and select next. What this means is all the information from column 1 is going to be mapped to the name data field. All the information from column 2 will be mapped to the email address data field, so on and so forth. Great. Success. So right now, our list is in the process of being uploaded. To view the status of the list, all we'll simply do, after selecting next, is we will go to the Lists tab, which automatically navigates once you select next, and then we'll find the list. So just briefly want to go through the icons that you're seeing. A marketing list will typically have this target icon. A SugarCRM list will always have the sugar cube. And an email campaign list will always have the inbox logo. So right here you have it, INBOX25 marketing list. It is preparing to add. You can view the status at any time. Depending on the size of your marketing list, it might take a little while or it might be instant. So to save you folks some time, I took the liberty before the webinar of actually uploading a separate marketing list and also set up some of the features of the system to interact with it. So the first feature I want to highlight are landing pages and forms. So before the webinar, I set up a very simple landing page that is mapped to the sample 1 marketing list. So anyone who converts on that landing page will be added to this marketing list as a new record. Once again, just to reiterate, custom data fields you can sync with landing pages and be able to map them to the custom data fields of your marketing list. So as you can see right here, marketing list request info is the landing page that I created to map to the marketing list. And I've had a few conversions. I'll look at the conversions very soon, but first I want to show you the back end of the landing page to show you how to set up the functionality to work with a marketing list rather than a CRM list. So right off the bat, as you can see, this landing page is mapped to the marketing sample list. And then I took the liberty of going through the necessities to make sure everything is in order. I even had an alert sent to one of the other team members for when someone converts on the landing page. Now, we have a webinar coming up that highlights some of the features of the landing page, as well as one that has previously been recorded. We also have additional info on our knowledge base in regards to the updates to our landing page builder, but I won't go too in-depth into that. So I created some basic data fields, didn't do too much editing, just created a logo, Team America World Police. But I want to show you the back end of what is being mapped to. So the name obviously is going to be mapped to the name field of the marketing list. Moving right along, the mobile phone is mapped to the office number of the marketing list. Now, here's where it gets a little interesting. As you saw, you're able to create custom data fields for the marketing list. Now, for the hidden field, which is another great addition to our landing page builder functionality, I'd like to have the lead source text field of my marketing list to be updated with a default value of website. I also created a custom data field, which I labeled request more info, and I have it mapped with this question: would you like to receive info on the sequel? So that's the back end side of things. Let's go back to the landing page manager and let's look at the conversions to see two things. One, that it worked, and two, to see how you would look at the timeline profile for a record that is associated with a marketing list exclusively. There's many ways to get to the timeline profile of a record, but since we're on the landing page manager, and I know that the record is converted on this specific landing page, I'm going to go ahead and click on Conversions. And as you see, I converted on the marketing list myself, but because I'm a SugarCRM contact, the functionality is not the same as a marketing list exclusive conversion. Let me explain the difference. Because I'm already located in SugarCRM as a contact, when going to the landing page, some of that information is already pre-filled for me. The reason being that a cookie has already been placed on me because I've previously converted on a landing page that was mapped to a CRM list. Because of that, I am a CRM record. If I was removed from the SugarCRM and then added to a marketing list, then this little icon would show. So let's look at Devin George. First, let's view the results, just so you can see. As you can see, they filled out all the questions. Now, let's take a look at Devin George's timeline profile. So what the timeline profile of INBOX25 is it's anything and everything that has to do with the specific record in question. For this example, Devin George. So the timeline is going to show any and all history that Devin George has had in interacting with your company via INBOX25. Now, because he's a record contained within the marketing list, when I click Profile, if everything's working smoothly, it should come up. And lo and behold, it does. Right from this screen, as you can see, you can update any and all fields at your disposal whenever you'd like. And everything mapped correctly, from the request more info, to the lead source, to the country, to his name. So that's the landing page side of things. Let's look at the scorecard, the lead scoring. Not only being able to have conversions mapped to a marketing list and to fields within a marketing list is a benefit, but being able to qualify these records is also necessary when using a marketing automation platform. So once again, before the webinar, I created a marketing list scorecard. Now, I didn't activate the scorecard yet. I activated the rule. So if I activate the scorecard, what's going to happen is now the rules will be active. I created one rule to show you how it would work with the data fields. So I did, from the sample list, if the temperature equals hot, I like to assign 1 point to anyone who has hot located in the temperature data field. Just to show you an example, all the data fields within sample list, marketing list, are able to be scored. In addition to my INBOX25 marketing list, as well as my SugarCRM leads, contacts, prospects, and accounts. So I'm going to go ahead and stray away from the lead scoring just for a little bit to show you the automation. Because like the lead scoring and the landing pages, I also took the liberty of setting up a few automated workflows. Now, the examples I gave before I go into each of the individual workflows is the marketing list workflow works on a tag. If the record was created after October 20th, I like to add a tag to records, and it fired off correctly. Another workflow I created was if someone converted on my landing page, I like to update a field. Another workflow I created was if any records did not request more info, or the field is null, I like to set them to an inactive status as they do not want to be marketed to. Last but not least, I have a segment list. Now this workflow also works with our integrations that we work with. So let's start with that one first. So to view the automation, you'll go to Edit, Automation. And then I'm going to take you through from top to bottom the setup of the workflow, the reasoning behind it, and some other use cases. So for this example, right off the bat, you're going to want to label your campaign and make sure you're selecting the marketing list. I'm also going to make this a smart campaign. We have a great webinar coming up in the future that's going to explain the matching settings for our automation engine, so I highly suggest you go ahead and register for that if you have not done so already. So that's the first step, naming it and setting up. Now, I utilized the geography condition of the workflow in the sense that if the record is located in the United States, what would I like to do? Well, first, I like to add some points to the record's lead score. 5 points to be specific. Next, I like to send a Twilio SMS to the record, thanking them for subscribing to our service. And what's really neat with the SMS action is I was able to input a personalization tag. This was sent straight to that person's cell phone number that they provided to me via the landing page. Next, I actually registered that person for today's webinar. As you see here, oops, accidentally selected out of that option, but basically what would have shown, because the webinar's already started, is that they were registered for this webinar. Just to verify that the action fired off, there you go, one action triggered. And then finally, last but not least, I like to segment this record into webinar peaks. Catchy, trendy, and yet very simple. So just to reiterate, anyone who is located in the United States, I added 5 points to the lead score. I sent them an SMS. I registered them for today's webinar, and then I segmented them into a segment that I named myself. Let's go back to the Automation Campaign Manager so we can go through some other examples. So I showed you the segment list, which utilized not only some of the automation engine capabilities, but also some of our integration capabilities. I used 2 of the integrations, Webinar, GoToWebinar, and Twilio. We also integrate with Zendesk. To look at the in-depth analysis of all our integrations, Zendesk, LiveChat, and Olark, GoToWebinar, and Twilio, please view the webinars that are on our YouTube channel as well as on our knowledge base. So here's a great workflow example I like to go through. Setting records to an inactive status or an active status is crucial when maintaining your proper active record limit. So for this workflow, let's just say I went over my active record limit by X amount of records, let's say 25. So I like to put 25 records into an inactive status, so therefore I am back under my appropriate active record threshold. So for this example, I used the data field condition of if request more info is null, what would I like to do? And it was a very simple set the record to an inactive status. Now, to get these people back to an active status, I would simply clone the workflow and change the action from set to inactive to set to active. Unless, of course, something has already been placed within the request more info field, then you'll have to do some tinkering to make sure that those records are also pulled into the workflow. So let's go back. I just want to do one more example. And let's do the marketing list landing page conversion. So basically, with this workflow, if a record converted on my marketing list request more info page, I like to alert the master account owner which in this case would be brownrwin25@gmail.com. As you can see, you can also alert any of the other users. In addition, and which is a great addition to our automation engine, is I decided to alert a custom email address and included myself. So not only is the master account owner getting an alert, but I'm getting an alert that someone is being put into this workflow. Finally, I updated the temperature field to hot if they've converted. Now, if you recall, I did create a rule where if the temperature equals hot, a record should be getting a point. So let's go back to our lead scoring and let's see what happened. If everything fired off correctly, then at least one record should have points accrued. So we'll go back to our scorecard manager, marking list scorecard, and there you have it. One record was touched, and there was one interaction. So everything fired off completely correctly. Now, I'd like to go back to automation really quickly so I can show you what is not available when using marking lists exclusively and not integrating with a CRM. Now, it's important to note that not having a CRM is not a lost cause. Drip marketing, as well as landing page conversions and visitor tracking, are all possible with INBOX25 without a SugarCRM integration. So I'm going to go into one of my already existing workflows so I can add conditions to show you what would be missing when using our automation engine. All right, once that's done loading. Okay, so to add a condition to an existing workflow, this is the condition block, and this is the action block. If I want to add an action, I will select this blue square. But I like to add a condition, so I'm going to select this blue square. And there you have it. The conditions that are grayed out are the conditions that you cannot use because of a lack of a CRM integration. So you won't be able to use opportunities, calls, meetings, support cases, quotes, contracts, and target lists. The reason being, these are all modules within SugarCRM. But as you can see, you can still leverage landing page conversions, web activity, social activity, data fields, campaigns, tags, which is exclusive to INBOX25, and works very similarly to the target list functionality of INBOX25, of SugarCRM. You can also use geography, scoreboard, and then utilize our awesome integrations, GoToWebinar, Zendesk, and Chats. So I'll X out of that, and then I'll show you the action wizard. Just configure a wait connector. And then these are the actions that are grayed out. Very similar to the conditions. You won't be able to convert a record from a prospect to a lead, which are native modules within SugarCRM. You won't be able to log a call, an opportunity, a task, or assign the record. All functionalities of SugarCRM. And you can also not add to a target list. So I did mention you can still use our visitor tracking tool, Site Monitor. Now, the reason being is Site Monitor is just that. It is a visitor tracking tool. It has no weight on whether you have a CRM or not. Just want to quickly go to the Site Monitor page just so I can show you that there's nothing on the page that indicates you need a CRM. And as you can see, Very simple. All you do is add your domains, get the code, and then you'll take our code and you'll embed it before the body of all of your domains. Now, one more example before I take any questions that you guys may have had. As you noticed, when I went to create my marketing list, I was prompted to create custom data fields. But, oh wait, I forgot to add one. What do? Don't fret. Very simple explanation. So you'll go to List Manager and you'll find the list, the marketing list, that you forgot to add the custom data field to. Let's say I forgot to add a custom data field to the INBOX25 marketing list. So I'm going to go ahead and select that list. And then I'll be taken to the general overview of the marketing list itself, which includes the number of records, the status of the records, as well as it shows you some of the general information for the records. So, as you can see, custom fields. Add custom fields. So, I forgot to add a custom field. So I'm just going to go ahead to add custom fields. And as you can see, not a problem. There is a solution to the issue, and all I have to simply do is create the custom data field. When I'm done, I'll click Add Field, and then it will propagate. And I just want to go quickly back 1 second, because there's one other thing I wanted to highlight, which is similar to the functionality of using target lists with SugarCRM. Just to explain really quickly, target lists with SugarCRM are targeted list of records that you seek to do something very specific with. For an example, you'll have a target list of active leads. These are people that your salespeople look to either schedule a call with or put through a nurturing campaign. With a marketing list, to replicate the functionality, you will add segments. What a segment does is it segments your records based on the data that you would like to leverage to add to the segment. You can add a segment here via the List Manager, or you can automate a workflow to add people to a segment based on the data you'd like to leverage. So that does it with showing you the functionality of marketing lists with INBOX25. Let's see if we have any questions. All right, so it doesn't look like we have any questions. So I'm going to just go through a few frequently asked questions. One is, if I have a marketing list, can I upload it to a CRM? The answer is yes. However, I would caution doing that because the reason you have a marketing list is you want it to remain separate from a CRM list. As I mentioned before, a marketing list typically contains records that have already consented to be marketed to, or in the alternative, have shown some sort of interest in your company. There's no need to add them to a CRM if you already are looking to actively market to them. If you'd like to add them to a CRM so that you can track opportunities or set up calls, that's completely fine. Just make sure that those records already do not reside within your CRM. If they do, they will be considered a duplicate record, and INBOX25 will not send emails or upload duplicate records into the system. Another commonly asked question is, how do I set records for a marketing list to an inactive status? Very simple. Same flow as a CRM process, and I showed you before during the presentation. Simply leverage the data that you would like to utilize, and then use the action of change status. Those records will then be added to the inactive status list. A final question regarding marketing lists was one I just recently covered, but we'll go over it anyway. What happens if I have a custom data field that I'd like to add to a marketing list now? Very simply, as I just showed before, all you'll do is go to the list manager, select the appropriate marketing list, and then go to add custom fields right here. You'll be prompted to add the field, then click add field, and then everything will be all right. So I'll hold the floor for a few more seconds for any last-minute questions. All right. That looks like there are no questions for today's webinar. Great. I hope you guys enjoyed today's webinar, and I hope it was very informational to utilize in future marketing endeavors. Once again, my name is Alex Borak with the Client Solutions team over here at INBOX25, Marketing Automation Made Easy. Once again, this webinar has been recorded and will be up for further viewing on our YouTube channel as well as our knowledge base. Thank you guys for attending today's webinar, and please look for our upcoming webinars on Friday as well as for the next few weeks. Please sign up for them if they pertain to an interest or a feature you'd like to look at. I hope you guys have a great Wednesday afternoon and look forward to showing you some more webinars in the future. Have a great day.